Right, everybody, it's just after 12, so we can start this call. Welcome again to the zones 33 and 34 and more Monday afternoon call. Fantastic to see 145 participants on the call so far, and 147, it's still going up. This is great. So as you may recall, the theme for this round of calls was the Rotary theme pin. You may have forgotten, it wasn't stressed in our last call, but does anybody have a theme pin that they're wearing that they would like to show off to those of us on the call? Not too many theme pins.
Peter, I have a bunch of them on. I looked in my jewelry box this morning and I couldn't figure out which one I wanted to wear, so I put them all on.
Stephanie, that looks great. Can you all see Stephanie's pins?
Stephanie is the overachiever in the group, that's for sure.
Peter, I don't have it on. I just have a normal one on. But if you look on the map behind me,
Right.
that has every pin since we started having pins.
Really? That's quite a memento.
Yeah.
Can you get that on eBay one day?
I know, that's a good idea. If I could make some money now, that'd be good.
All right. Well, so much for the theme pins. The other thing we typically do every time we have a call is just to try out the chat pane. So would everyone please just in one word describe the weather in your location? Is it fine, windy, cold, whatever? One word.
Beautiful.
On the chat pane, not online.
Sunny?
On the chat page, please, not with your mic. On the chat page, okay?
Stormy.
No, honey, he said on the chat.
David, are you there?
I am here, Peter. We ready to
Okay.
go?
Yes, over to you.
We have a, I hope on the call, very special cameo appearance this morning from one of our Rotary International Foundation trustees. Mary Beth Growney Celine, are you on the call this morning there with us? Maybe on a cell phone? Peter, I've not seen Mary Beth come in, so she may not be on the call. Could we ask past President Berge just to give us a few words of inspiration this morning, Barry?
Caught me by surprise. And I could never replace Mary Beth Celine. I think she's an extraordinary Rotarian. And I've enjoyed working with her on a number of committees and the trustees. You know, it's reminding us all that we've got to stay strong. I think the good news when you listen to the news, and I'm obsessed with it, like I'm sure many of us are, how do we get going again? How do we start the economy? How are things? We know we're going to wear masks and have physical distancing for a long time, but we've got to get the economy going, and we're starting to think about how to do that in a sensible manner, because we do have to be careful. But you know, Esther was really tired of staying in the house and just constantly, we get up, she cooks, she cleans, she cooks, she cleans, she cooks, she goes to bed. So Sunday, and believe me, I'm not a person who spends any time in the kitchen except to eat. But Sunday I cooked breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and she relaxed all day, and she's a new person today. So we got to remember each other, and what can we do? I know I'm not the greatest husband in the world, but once in a while, you know, we all got to step up and help each other. The other important message is pick up the phone and call somebody you know who you just need to reach out to and give them a hand. A lot of people out there either on their own or they're just stir crazy from hanging around. We're all a little attention deficit disorder. So for us to be stuck in a house is a challenge. So reach out to somebody, anybody you know today, and say, hi, I'm just thinking about you, and I wish you all the very best as we go forward. So stay strong, stay well, stay healthy, stay safe, stay home, and thank our healthcare workers, because they are just absolutely doing a job that's making our world a better place and saving a lot of people's lives while they put their own at risk. So thank you, and thank you for the opportunity, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. We appreciate you being here and appreciate those words of wisdom and inspiration. I would like to issue you a personal challenge relative to what Barry just said. I would challenge you to call 5 people a day, because you know what? There may be the day in this shelter in place that you need someone calling you. Call 5 people a day. Just tell them you love them. And with that, we have bested our record. We now have 180 people on the call. Back to you, Peter.
Great. Thanks, David. Thanks, Barry. Inspirational words as always. So now it's my pleasure to pass over to Stephanie, who's going to introduce our key presenter for today. Stephanie, over to you.
Thanks. Thanks very much, Peter. Hey, President Berge, hi, I'm thinking about you. How was that? That was my test. So when I get off this call, I'm going to get on the phone and see if I can call 5 more people. But before we get off the call, I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce our very special and very timely topic today. We're going to have a presentation about staying sane during COVID-19. And this is going to be presented by my friend, Dr. Mary Berge. Mary is a licensed clinical psychologist based in Johnstown, PA, where she is also a Rotarian. Rotary has benefited from Mary's skill and talent in a lot of ways. She has been a district governor. She has been an international training leader. She has been a trainer. She's been a zone coordinator, and the list goes on and on and on. Currently, Mary is offering her skills to Rotary clubs and non-Rotarians around the world, as she has offered to be a speaker at many Zoom meetings. I think the last time I checked with her, that number was up to 51. So she is traveling the globe at no cost to Rotary. So Mary, with that, I'm going to turn it over to you and help us figure out how to stay sane during these crazy times. Mary?
Thank you so much, Stephanie. That was a lovely introduction. And like Barry said, if you're anything like most people right now, you're feeling overwhelmed, maybe even anxious and irritable, mentally, emotionally, physically fatigued. So today I want to give you a few tips that maybe can help create a better balance and to help keep you a little more sane during these really strange times. Barry mentioned the word information. Yeah, it is like a fire hose right now, just blasting in our face. So normally when a patient comes to me and presents with a problem, I encourage them to actually gather more information, because typically information is power, but not in this case. It is overload. So my first piece of advice is to begin to limit the amount of information that you are intaking on a daily basis. My recommendation is just 2 times per day. It's best if you start your day with a reliable source that's most relevant to you, perhaps your state website, perhaps your county website. And that way you get the information that you need for the day to keep the people that you love and care most about safe. Maybe to make any slight adjustments to whether we're supposed to wear masks all the time or not wear masks, or whatever the new piece of information is. But then don't pick up the phone all day long. Don't keep checking it. Wait until the end of your day, the end of your workday, and then I like to go to a more global format so that I get informed about what's happening in the rest of the world. That information still is very important to me, but I like to do that more towards the end of the day. Now, I also recommend that you do not check any news forms in any way, shape, or form after 7 p.m. You need to allow your mind to decompress and to recover from the stresses of the day, especially in a high stress time. Now, the second tip I want to give you is regarding routine. Routine is actually a predictor of personal well-being. And just like children, adults do much better when they know what is expected of them. And that's especially true when you're under stress. And in fact, the lack of a routine can actually make you feel more lethargic and doubtful. So most of us are working from home now, but we still need to stick to an 8-hour-a-day work routine schedule. However, you should be chunking this into 2-hour increments with a 10-minute break every 2 hours, just like you would at work. And I want you to absolutely step away from your computer for 10 minutes. Go to a different room in the house, or even better, you can get outside and get some vitamin D. Do something physical, read a book, listen to some music, engage some other part of your brain, but definitely step away from the computer. Now, routine also means taking care of ourselves. And the stay-at-home order isn't an excuse just to put your life on hold and binge, eat, and drink and all of that. So I know in the first 2 weeks, if you were anything like me, you probably caught up on a lot of Netflix. But but life is still happening. So it's really time to just normalize this new sense of working from home. I would also encourage you to write down every single day what your nutrition, your fitness, and your hydration goal is going to be for the day. And I mention hydration because when your body is under stress, depressed, or anxious, you will, in fact, begin to dehydrate at a much faster rate. So my hydration goal is never less than 60 ounces of water per day. And I also always write down a fitness goal and a nutrition goal for myself. Writing down your goals will actually increase your personal accountability and increase the probability that you'll actually attain that goal. All right, so let's spend a few minutes talking about our neurotransmitters in our brain. And my favorite neurotransmitter, I think it's most people's, is dopamine. Dopamine is the chemical that, when released in the brain, makes us feel euphoric and happy. And that actually makes us want more. And there are ways that you can promote the release of dopamine in your brain, that you can actually force it to sort of produce itself and get into those presynaptic gaps. I'm going to teach you 2 ways to do that right here and right now. I want everyone to take a moment and to truly reflect on something that you're grateful for. Just take a moment. Okay, now do this. When you smile and when you reflect on gratitude, those 2 things just immediately start releasing dopamine into your brain. And science tells us that actually a forced smile, even a fake one, the brain doesn't know the difference between a real feeling of happiness and wanting to smile and a forced smile. So even if you stand in the mirror and fake a smile, your brain will release dopamine. And if you begin to learn biofeedback and you do these things and you're smiling and you're reflecting on gratitude, you can learn how to actually start to feel the difference in your body. If you pay attention and tune in, you might be able to feel what that feels like. And like yawning, you know, when you see someone yawn, what does it make you want to do? Makes you want to yawn. It's contagious. Smiling is the same way. So you can actually infect other people with dopamine dumps by smiling at them, whether it's even online or just in the car next to someone, or you drop your mask for a minute and just smile and wink at someone. You would be amazed at how hard it is for them to not smile back at you. So you can force the dopamine dump in other people as well. So try that. With my patients who are depressed, we actually do smiling exercises in my office, and I assign that a lot of times as homework. So try the forced smile, try the daily gratitude statement, and truly reflect on how your body feels when you're laughing, smiling, and grateful. Now, one of the worst enemies of dopamine is anxiety. And the fastest way for you to become anxious is with what if thinking. So what if thinking is futuristic thinking. And so it sounds like, okay, what if my business fails? What if this state shelter at home thing goes on more than 60 days? What if I get sick? What if, what if, what if? Anxiety breeds best in the future thinking, what if thinking. Now, it also does pretty well in past tense thinking. So if you're also thinking about your past or ruminating about the past, I would call that would have, could have, should have thinking. Anxiety does pretty well there too, but it does the least amount of damage, or its inability to sort of be alive, is in the right here and right now. Anxiety cannot exist in the absolute here and now. And that's where mindful thinking comes in. Now, the way that this works, the way that the what if and anxious thing works in your brain is this. On each side of the brain, in each hemisphere, you have something in the limbic system called the amygdala. And when you begin to worry or ruminate or do the what if thinking, your amygdala starts to basically light up. And it sends a signal to the hypothalamus. And that little relay message is where your fight, flight, and freeze response happens. And you get all those autonomic nervous system responses that we know as anxiety. Sweating, butterflies in the stomach, that sort of thing. And people who have an overactive or a damaged relay system, they're the people that have the most trouble with anxiety, people with panic disorder or anxiety disorders. So I'm going to teach you 2 ways today that you can actually shut that system down within minutes. So the first one is with deep breathing. Now, I know most of you think that, okay, I know how to do a nice deep breath, but I'm going to demonstrate it for you today so that you understand truly what a proper deep breath should look like. So first and foremost, you have to breathe in through your nose and you have to exhale through your mouth. Can't be the other way around. And then you also are going to hold your breath in between. Now, the inhale and the exhale must be incredibly slow. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate just how slow it needs to be. Okay, so here I go. About to inhale. I like to use my body too because it helps my brain to understand what's happening. Okay, inhale. Okay, I'm finally full. I'm going to hold it. And exhale. Okay, and then I check in. It really makes me want to smile because I can feel that in my body. Did you notice that took 30 seconds? A full 30 seconds for one breath. I pierced my lips to make the breath really come out slowly too, out of my mouth. So after this meeting is over, I would like for you to all try a proper deep breath. I'd like you to do it 2 to 3 times in a row. Definitely do it seated because you're probably going to get a little lightheaded, but that's okay. And after each breath, check in with your body. Notice what it is about your body that feels relaxed, that feels good. Notice if you kind of feel yourself wanting to smile a little. That's dopamine in there moving around. All right, the second thing is called, it's a sound technique called bilateral sound therapy. And bilateral sound is a technique that I use in session all the time with my patients. And what you do is, I'm going to give you the download here for it in just a minute. But first, what you do is you put your earbuds in, and then you're going to be listening to either music or nature sounds. And then you close your eyes, and you'll notice that you hear the sound in your right ear, and then in your left, and in your right ear, and then in your left. And you'll notice that your eyes begin to actually track the sound. And when that happens, that creates a sound wave that crosses both hemispheres of the brain, crossing over that midline section. And that particular sound wave is what turns the amygdalas off. It's as if they can't really compete with each other. And the music of the sound waves always wins. Now, my favorite resource person, and we're going to have a screen pop up here for you in just a second. My favorite resource, his name is David Grand, G-R-A-N-D. And he actually coins his this this type of therapy is biolateral sound. And you can find him on Spotify, on YouTube, on iTunes, and you can download his music. I just think his product is one of the best.
And
that's
Mary, I am so sorry. The video, or the visual is not going to come.
That's okay. You know, I have a cheat sheet just in case that
You
happens.
are the best.
I am always prepared. So David Grand, Biolateral Sound, and his album on YouTube is called Brain Spotting. And again, I just think his product is absolutely the best. Okay, so there's my screen share, good old-fashioned piece of paper. And again, I use this almost every single day with my patients. It's wonderful for anxiety, depression, irritability. My anger management clients love it. And I like it for myself. I can even use it with my eyes open, and it works too. It still works good when I'm doing a lot of heavy duty paperwork, and also wonderful for sleep. When I do this with my patients, I usually leave the room because I let them go for about 12 minutes. And when I come back, I would say 50% of the time I have to wake them up. They're asleep on the couch. So definitely check out the download for this and see what you think. Now, lastly, one last tip. You know, there are a lot of things about this COVID-19 times that we absolutely cannot control. But something we can control is our decision as to how we're going to handle the situation. Life is not on pause. So you can either use this for the better, or you can fail to use it at all. And for me, I've decided that I want to come out of this time better, a better neighbor. I want to be a better Rotarian, a better person just to myself too. I've set some goals for myself, some short-term goals for things that I can learn during this time. I'm a big fan of the author David Sedaris, so I have actually signed up for some writing classes through Master Class online, and also some Thomas Keller cooking classes. So decide for you yourself, how do you want to come out of this? What do you want to learn while you're doing this? What goals do you want to achieve? Maybe you can set a mental and an emotional and a physical goal for yourself, so that when this time is over, you're going to be better for it. I believe that this time is going to offer us a lot of really interesting changes, not just negatively, but some good benign changes, a renaissance of the human spirit. And I believe that we're going to value things differently. We're going to value connection differently, the human touch. I know there's going to be a lot of people who will never want to touch anything ever again, and you'll think about touch completely differently. But for me, I'm a hugger, so like if you even make eye contact at me, I'm probably going to hug you. So, I was born in 1967. I love to tell this story because when I was growing up, every single night, my mother made dinner for our family. And we sat at the kitchen table and we all had dinner together, 6 o'clock, like clockwork. I'm not sure when that went away, but it did. But guess what? That's back. Families are eating dinner together. And that's something that I don't want to see go by the wayside when this is over. We need to be better people. And this is one opportunity that can help us achieve that. And at the end of this, yes, you will be different in some way, shape, or form, but hopefully you'll be different for the better. But that choice is yours. So those are my hot tips for today on how to stay sane during the coronavirus times and shelter in place. Thanks you guys for having me here. It's been super fun.
Mary, thank you once again. A wonderful presentation, lots of good hints. I love the dopamine burst. That's what I will remember from your call most of all. We have time for questions for Mary, either preferably in the chat box, but if that doesn't work for all, put your hand up and David will control this part of the presentation.
If you have questions of Mary, we'll take just a few minutes for that. Put them in the chat box if you will. Or you can raise your hand. Mary, not seeing any questions. Great job again today. Thank you so much for being with us. Mary, would you mind putting your contact information on the chat in the chat box? Get you
I'd be happy to.
100 of calls today. We have bested our record today, folks. We met over 202 people on the call at one time, and we're sitting on 200 now. Back to you, Peter.
All right. Thanks, David. In fact, I think we're going to pass over to Stephanie for some final thoughts. Stephanie, are you still there?
I am. Thanks, Peter. I just want to remind folks that we'll be doing another call this coming Friday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And on Friday, we're going to have a visit from Paul Harris. And our theme for our weekend calls, Friday and Monday, will be our Paul Harris medallions or our Paul Harris pins. So shake off the dust, find them wherever you have them, and let's wear them. You know, Paul celebrated a birthday on April the 19th. So this is a very timely visit from him, and I know you won't want to miss it. So we'll see you on Friday morning at 7:30 when we have a visit from Paul Harris. Thanks, Peter.
All right. Thanks, Stephanie. I just want to mention on the chat box, Mary, if you're still there, there are many, many thank you, Marys. Appreciate the tips. Nice message. Lots of very nice messages for a wonderful presentation. So we've come to the end of our Monday session, and as is traditional, we're going to turn off the chat box, the sound for all of you except for David, Stephanie, and myself, and we're going to recite the four-way test, and we invite you to recite it in the same way, but on mute. So, of all the things we think, say, and do, first, is it
the truth?
Second, is it
fair to all
concerned? Third,
Goodwill and better friendships.
Fourth, will it
be beneficial
to all concerned?
Thank you all. Have a great week, and we hope to see many of you next Friday. Bye now.